Hey y'all, it's Alex and welcome back to my channel. Before we get into the actual video today, I just want to give a small announcement. The Draw This In Your Style challenge, the first one was originally supposed to go up today, but I decided that since a couple of people I know are still working on it and they're pretty busy still with finals, I'm going to extend these by a month. The submission date for these is going to be January 13th, January 15th, and January 17th, I believe. Over on my Instagram, I have countdowns available. If you have an Instagram and would like to have a reminder set, those are over there. So, this video is actually rather last minute. I am filming this on Monday, and usually, I've tried not to do that since Inktober. I've tried giving myself plenty of time, and I have plenty of videos that I could probably post this week, but this is one that I want to get out before 2009 is over. So, as I've probably said a good many times in my filming, I don't have a lot of my old art. I used to be a chronic destroyer of everything. If I didn't like my art after a little while, I just threw it out. This stack over here is all, I think, 2015 and onward art. There might be some stuff here from maybe early 2014, but no, 2013, because there's some Homestuck art. But yeah, for sure, all of this is only the past 5 or 6 years. And I know for a fact that there is art going... I started drawing in maybe around 2006 or 2007, so there should be art out there, but it's just gone. I used to have a DeviantArt, and I deleted that when I decided that I didn't want to look at my old art anymore. And I was bemoaning that I wouldn't be able to do the 2009 to 2020 challenge. But then I remembered, there's one place that has my art from far back then. I went looking for it, and I decided, you know, even if it doesn't end up being from 2009, if it's like 2010 or 2008, I'm still gonna do it for this video. But it ended up being posted in 2009. And I know I'd only created that character the summer before this video came out. So this is the only piece of art that remains from 2009. And it's an Axis Powers Hitalia OC, because all I drew back then was OCs. So this is my OC of Belize, really kind of entranced by the political history. No, I was not. It was the only country I'd ever been to other than a European country that already had a Hitalia OC, and therefore I wanted to make a Hitalia OC for it. Sorry for the rosebud noises behind me. She's playing with her paper. Alright, why don't we get into this? We're going to erase the small blip of what almost was on this page and pull up the reference image, as terrible as she is. So because I deleted the original page for this, I don't have what her name used to be. I want to say her name was Maya or something. I tend to lean towards that a lot. But anyhow, if at any point I switch over to post-recordings, know that Rosebud's playing got a little bit too loud. Or I got bored and wanted to listen to more of the Magnus Archives. God, the thing that's most striking about my original art style is that I vehemently hated drawing hands, and I specifically made my art style not have hands. She's just got these weird round nubs, and I hate it. Also, I still didn't have any idea how to highlight things. The highlights are just kind of like in the center of the image. I'm gonna give her a rather round face. Since the challenge isn't to completely redesign what I drew in 2009 and instead just revamp it, I'm going to leave her outfit and the eye patch exactly how it is. And I remember my exact reasoning for giving her an eye patch. When we went to Belize, there was a lot of talk of like, be careful about your bug bites, and if they start moving, just be cautious about them, because you could have a bot fly. Yeah, I took that to heart, but that somehow correlated to she has lost the use of one eye and now wears an eye patch. Don't exactly know why, but I've also noticed in my recent art, I've been leaning away from like the bean-shaped mouth, which is like the... And I've been going for more of a triangle-shaped mouth. When I started noticing that I've been liking the bean mouth a little bit less, I don't exactly know how to feel about it, because it's been a feature of my art for a little while. But I mean, art styles are fluid for a reason. And we'll see if I'll be able to fit her entire body on this page. With how big this body is right now, it's unlikely. Something I also remember about this character is I gave her a little hermit crab pet. 90% of the aspects about her were made from my personal experiences from that one trip. So I might give her a hermit crab friend. This is also the world's stupidest pose. For you guys, how big is the difference between your 2009 and your 2019 art? Did you only start drawing somewhat recently? Is it not that big of a change? Because I almost wish that I didn't go through too much of a change. I wish that I would have... Well, I mean, I'm glad that my art has developed, but... Oh, this leg is supposed to go in front. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to fit in her boots on the page. And also, I don't think I should give her that much hip. She's supposed to be a rather thin character. I'm gonna make her that thin. I should... Because she's a very boxy body shape. I've been trying to do more realistic body shapes, though maybe I should just make her wider to make her seem more realistic on the page. I think I am gonna give her like a belt sash around her middle, just to make it seem more like some sort of uniform coat instead of just like a fleece blazer from Land's Ends that I probably based it off of. For this character, I only really remember a few things about them. First of all, I shipped her with America, because of course I did. Why would I have an OC if not to ship them with someone in the main cast? I could have shipped her with Britain, but technically Belize is an ex-Commonwealth nation. I had it that they were on somewhat good terms, since they were only released in 91, I want to say. She had a terse relationship with her brother character that I made for Guatemala, I want to say. Either Guatemala or El Salvador or one of them. I'm gonna make her sleeves a little bit more form-fitting. So the biggest thing about my art process that has changed between 2009 and 2019 is that I used to only work in digital art. I didn't really find traditional art to really... And I don't know when to stop. Like, when you're working on digital art, there's no undo. There's no, oh yeah, I can just kind of like rework the colors a little bit. You're done when you're done. And I just hate the fact that I can go back and forth constantly with digital art. It never fucking ends. And God, do I want it to. I feel like with digital art, I just kind of like, I don't think that the piece is finished, I just get tired of working on it. Thumb would be in the back. I'm going to speed on through the line art here, and then we can get to the coloring. Something I've noticed I've been having a problem with is like, I started doing these lines to put more detail in hair instead of just having a big flat expanse. But I mean, the point of the line art is can't undo it now. Alright, line art is done. I think this pen is dying, and I only bought this in the middle of Inktober. Inktober did take a lot out of my supplies though. And also, I messed up here. I did a lot of messing up around this area of the coat, which is funny because it's the only thing I changed. I mean, other than adding in the hermit crab, but shows me what for trying to change things. I don't have my catch page from inside of the sketchbook, so I'm just going to use a random piece of paper, and I think I'm for the most part going to be using Copic markers today. I might grab for a couple of other things here and there, but it's going to be a lot of just my current usual process with markers. I swear, this is the crumbliest eraser I own. I know for sure I'm not going to have all of the exact same colors as in the original. I think I'm just going to go as close as I can. The thing that bothers me the most is the fact that she's wearing kind of like this olive green jacket, which I do have a green that's a little closer, but I want it to be a nice dark green jacket, because this kind of like gray pea green is not really drawing me in. The green of her headband is like a kind of like more forest green than the yellow, gray, green, olive kind of color of her jacket, and I absolutely hate it. Like, what the hell was I even thinking? I don't remember what the deal has been, but I've been grabbing for this particular marker a lot recently. It's G99 Olive. I'm not gonna worry about whether or not that focused in at all, because if it did, it could potentially stick that way and completely ruin this video, which it has happened before. That was actually a video that happened to me on a 3 marker challenge I did probably in November of last year, and I just never ended up uploading it. So if that's gonna be the color of her main jacket, I think I'm gonna do, so this is probably the color I would have used for her jacket, but I wanted to do a darker jacket because she's all pretty much one note in my original version, except for her hair. But I'm gonna do a YG63 background for her. And I probably won't color the entire thing, because that's just a little ridiculous for one poor marker, which I think YG36 or 63 or whatever it is, yeah, 63, is one of the first markers I bought, so it probably wouldn't be able to make it through the whole background of this page. And since I didn't do a fully formed background on the original, I'm not gonna do a fully formed background on this one. Got a little outside the line there, but and there. I honestly haven't grabbed for my Copics in a little while. I think that's why it's tripping me up so much. Don't think the background is gonna go all the way out to there, so I'm just gonna cover that up with a little bit of white. I'm probably gonna do just kind of like a circular background, though I'll have to do a larger circle than this thing can provide. This marker does not want to be utilized right now, or at least not one side of it. The brush nib is seemingly a lot drier than the chisel nib. One thing I'm gonna have to make sure not to do is put highlights on the jacket in the same way, because it makes it look like she's wearing like a pleather jacket in the original. And we're gonna do the same green for her eye patch. And we'll figure out which khaki her pants are going to be before we figure out her skin tone. I want to make sure that it doesn't look like she's just not wearing pants. We'll have to go for a pretty light khaki. So, jacket and eye patch are done. I kind of wish I would have just left it at one coat, but I wanted to try to get rid of as much of this lovely doubling back texture that you get with markers a lot of the time. Alright, so onto the pants. We might have to go a little bit grayer of a brown for her pants, because I just don't have that many good tans. And I don't want to make her too light. Okay, so lighting will be a little different. I actually had to step away and come back the next day. I'm absolutely flabbergasted by the fact that of all of the browns and stuff I have, there's nothing that's a good enough tan for her pants versus her skin. This might be the best for her pants. Actually, no, this one. And then I want to go with more of a true skin tone for her, well, yeah. And unfortunately, this marker is also dying, so I might have to go over this a good few times to get it to be fully opaque. I really wish they had just kind of like mega stands of all Sharpie markers that I could just pick some out of. They do have some things like those, but they don't stock every color. Like last time I saw a stand like that was at like Office Max or Office Depot or some place like that, and they had maybe like a fourth of the color collection I had. They did have like 2 new ones that I hadn't already had, so was able to get those. But there's this one and like I think this seafoam green that I've almost completely used up, and I don't have any way of replacing them except for going ahead and buying a whole new set, and that just seems like a lot of waste. I think I'm gonna use this color for her eyes, because I did a very light tone for her eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in for it too. And then maybe I'll go around the outside with a slightly darker color, because I tended to do multicolored eyes a lot when I was... Actually, I'm just gonna color over this whole... I think that looks okay. For her hair, I think I'm gonna go with my typical dark brown. I always use E79 Cashew for brown hair. I also interchange with E49 Dark Bark, but I feel like this one is pretty darn close to what I originally intended with her hair. And we'll go back in later and do highlights. I've been trying to add more highlights to hair and such, just for that added realism, but I just don't know quite how to handle it yet. And I think I am going to go over some areas with Dark Bark just to give some differentiation. And I always forget that when I use my Copics on this paper, which is the B Paper Company Mixed Media, it tends to come off a little lighter than I'm used to. And I mean, like, you'll have that with any new paper. It'll take the pigments just a little bit differently. At least they have in my experience. But keeps throwing me off. I need a skin tone, and I think we're also going to do Dark Bark for her belt here as well. I think this one is probably a pretty good candidate. Everything else I have is either too yellow, too light, or too green. So we're probably just going to stick with this. I'm going to use a little bit of E71 to do some shading for the pants. I feel like I've made her head much bigger than I tend to. Like, is that just me? I think we're gonna have to use W9 on her boots because the W7 just isn't quite as dark as I'd like. Huh, looks like I'm gonna need to get a refill of ink for W9 as well. Oh, that lovely scraping marker sound. Just gotta do a little bit of blushing on her face, and then we can do our background. Oh, I forgot about our little friend up there. We'll make him pink. Ah, shoot. I did cool tone shading here and warm tone shading on the hand. Guess I'll just have to mix them. I think that brought a little bit more color to her face anyway. Now for this belt buckle. These metallic pens have been giving me nothing but trouble this week. So, since I have my golden acrylic ink just kind of sitting here from a previous project. You know, I just realized something. I think this is the first drawing in quite some time where I don't show any ears at all. Usually my favorite part of drawing faces other than really big noses is really big ears, just because I like having place to fit all of my bits and baubles and earrings on. Like, especially elves. If you guys have watched my my One Color Family art series, I chose elves for the pink piece just because there was a lot more real estate to put rhinestone earrings on. But, like, I used to hate drawing ears, and she feels empty without them, but I can't exactly sketch in an ear here because that's not how bodies work. I guess there should be an ear here, but I wanted to show the other side of the band, so it's a little late for that now. I guess I was trying to go as close to the original while still also having it be in my current style. And so for this circle background, we're gonna go in with my trusty compass. We'll have it center around here. Yeah, that seems about good. And we're gonna go in with my YG63, and we'll have to be careful about the ink that is still drying. I don't know why I've been saying we. I mean, like, it's more of an I, but I mean, you're coming along on the journey with me, so we'll stick with we. Okay, now that the outline has been made, I can go in with the chisel nib and try to get as few streaks as possible. It's not gonna happen, but doesn't mean I can't try. I feel the marker dying already. Oh man, it's hard to do this upper line without turning the page. I don't know why that's such a big thing in art YouTube. I guess part of it is that you don't want to be constantly turning the piece around and then confusing your audience. I get part of that, but like, such a big no-no. Other than the fact that people mostly follow me for traditional art instead of digital art. I'm guessing the constant jumping is part of why my digital piece that I posted last week was much less well received than all of my other art, which I don't blame you. You guys don't follow me for digital art, so... Oh yeah, this marker is so dying. I don't blame it. This is like the 4th marker I ever bought, so it might be time to get it a refill. I'm gonna try to go over it a little bit quicker. The top of the circle might be a little bit darker than the bottom, but we'll live. I don't like it as just a normal circle though. Let's blend the edge out a little bit more. I don't know why I think this makes it look better. I just don't think it's interesting enough if I leave it as just a normal circle. You know? Just give it a little bit more visual intrigue. That looks a little better. I still feel like it's missing things, but I think the things that it's missing is more detail. If this were a redesign challenge, then I'd say yes, we can go further. But since this is a simple redraw challenge just to translate the old into the new, I feel like I've already deviated enough with just the belt. Oh, eye shines and highlights. That's what we're missing. And because I haven't not done this in a single piece recently, I'm just gonna add some dots and circles around her. I guess this works a little better on darker backgrounds, but hey, we've started now. It's kind of too late to stop. Alright you guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me redraw my, at this point, the earliest recorded piece of my previous art. Sorry that came out kind of weird. This isn't my last video for 2019, so I will be wishing you guys a good week instead of a good year. If you'd feel so inclined, hit that subscribe button and check me out on my other social media handles. Thanks, and I'll see y'all in the next one.